Hello fellow humans and welcome to the Madhouse. I'm Josh and today I'm going to do Shane's YouTube survey 2016. What do you think of the new setup then? I actually have a spinach chair and it's a lot of fun. I've not had one of these in years. I'm sorry that this isn't the house tour that I said I was going to do, but I am a lazy fucker and nobody really needs to see my house. For one thing, it means I have to do my washing up downstairs and, well, I would have done to be honest, but my housemate doesn't appear to have done his washing up for 2 weeks, so I can't get in the sink and I refuse to touch it. I mean, if it were just a day or two I could manage, but I'm fairly sure the pots and pans have evolved sentience and have some sort of submarine society of their own. Not pleasant, I'm just not going near. So that's enough excuses, let's actually get on to what this video was about. My friend Shane did some sort of survey on YouTube last year and he's doing it again. Kind of ripping off the ideas slightly from Alex Day, who is not really doing anything now. I don't know what happened after the whole... well, there was a lot of stuff that happened, never mind. And also slightly from the Vlog Brothers with Visit Nerdbiteria, which is rather cool actually. A country the size of Belgium, entirely online. So Shane, you can finally stop pestering me, I'm doing it. That is all. Question number 1. How did you come up with your channel name? Why am I doing that voice for it? Never mind. I'll go with it and see what happens. This isn't actually the first channel name it had. The first name I called my channel was just JP Bebbington. Bebbington is my last name, and JP because those are my initials. It's what I use when I write. On Twitter and on all of my other social media I was JP Bebbington, so I thought, why not just continue that across? But then I realised for YouTube it's a little bit boring. So I changed it to something that I said in my very first video because of, well, mostly because I had an Arkham Asylum poster behind me and it had the words "Welcome to the Madhouse" on it. So I said this in my first video and I'm very sorry for subjecting you to that. Hello fellow humans, robots and hyper-intelligent dolphins. Welcome to the Madhouse. Needless to say, I don't do it like that anymore. Why do people say that? If something is needless to say, why do they say it? It's just silly. But there's also something a little bit deeper to that because I am autistic and I'm exceptionally clever. So I get words thrown at me quite often, things like crazy, lunatic, madman, nutter, and my personal favourite, retard, all the time. So actually, by calling something the Madhouse and making it into my own, it's like taking their insults and turning it into my own armour. So, question number 2. What is your content about? Am I going for a sort of voice of God thing here? Because, well, no, there is no God, so why would I? Never mind, moving on. My content is mostly about these things behind me. Yes, fairy lights. No, books. I just love to read and to write as well. I'm doing a lot more writing lately and it's so much fun and I'm really getting into it. And I've now got a proper name for my book rather than just The Tales of Aurelia, which was rather stupid and only fitting for kids books. And there's nothing wrong with kids books certainly, but my writing is a little more complicated and potentially adult. Not so much in the graphic sex way, although that could turn up. More in the I'm going to peel your kidneys like a grape kind of way. But I also talk about LGBT plus matters, see, rainbows, politics, the news, things that are happening in the world, and anything that really takes my fancy. If I happen to see a cute dog, I may film about that. I've sometimes written poems about the summer because I was bored. But I want to try and move my channel to be slightly less bookish, although it will always be bookish because I myself am very bookish, and more about achieving a more positive frame of mind. I believe I mentioned that earlier this year, I can't quite remember. No matter, but I'm doing that. To be more positive and to try to help other people feel better about themselves rather than being a sarcastic arse. Though to be fair, I do enjoy that very, very much. Number 3, what drives you to make your videos? What am I doing? There are a lot of things actually. Sometimes it's the desire to help other people and make them happy, like I mentioned just a moment ago. Sometimes I want a creative outlet besides writing. Bollocks. My drink's finished. Number 4. Who is your favourite school teacher? My goodness, it's just been over 4 years since I left school now. There were several teachers that I really liked, and some not so much. One of my favourites was Mr. Senior, my German teacher, who we gave a nervous breakdown, and that was rather sad because he was really, really nice and so scatterbrained, but it was also really, really funny. There was also Mr. Wiseman, who was one of the science teachers who was just such a big nerd. The entire classroom was covered in Star Wars memorabilia, Star Trek things. There was a massive Voyager hanging on the wall. There was a Jar Jar Binks in a fish tank with the newts. All sorts of stuff, and he was just really fun to chat with. But my favourite is probably Mrs. Hall Jones. I believe her first name was Rebecca because I saw it in one of her Christmas cards. Why do I remember this? No idea. But she was my teacher in year 8 and then in years 10 and 11 as well. She encouraged me to start writing more. I feel very guilty for having subjected her to several of my early drafts of my book, because the very first ones read more like a very cheesy gay erotica, which is fine if that's what you're going for, but I was going for high fantasy. Number 5, the strangest food you have ever eaten. My grandmother can't cook to save her life, but that's not really strange, it's just disgusting. This was actually in my 21 things to do before I turned 21 video. I wanted to eat something a little bit exotic. I'm not vegetarian, though I was for 2 years, and I rather enjoy good meat. There's a pun in there if you try hard enough. But what I usually eat is rather conventional. Standard beef, pork, chicken, the occasional bit of lamb, except that's very expensive. And I decided I wanted to try something different, and that was to eat some meat of something exotic, and I did. One of the pubs here in Bangor before the summer, I don't know if they're still doing it now, though I hope so because it was rather nice, did a zebra steak burger. I'm not sure how they got hold of it or whatever, but they did, and it was pretty nice. A bit tough on the teeth, but not bad. I'm not a big fan of horse generally, and there wasn't that much different. It was nice. Certainly nicer than veal, venison and shark. Number 6, your funniest school memory. A lot of these are school related. I suppose that works for Shane. He's a little bit younger than I am. This would have been in year 10, so when I was about 15. The year 10s at my school, because we were very near to the big church in the centre of town, held a mock wedding in the middle of it with all of the ceremony and traditions associated with Church of England weddings, except with a few words done differently and a mock contract so that it was not legally binding. They do that every year for the year 10s to try and teach people about the importance of marriage, because that's what schools do in England. I can't speak about the rest of the world, but it seems to be fairly common theme. They wanted to show us the Christian traditions of marriage. Now, for an atheist like me, I was pretty bored. But the morning before we did this wedding, my best friend Lauren, she went and attacked me with hair straighteners, and at the time my hair was very long, and well, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know what my hair is like when it's long. If I dyed my hair red, I'd look like Peggy Bundy from Married with Children, and that's not a look anyone can pull off nowadays. Here's a photo of what it looked like, and I had several burns that day. I suppose it must be difficult to straighten somebody else's hair. I'm determined not to straighten my hair again, even though it may potentially look good. Instead, I just use a ridiculous amount of gel to hold it in place. Usually wax at the moment, actually. Number 7. Which anime series do you consider to be the best? I don't really watch anime. My brother's trying to get me watching Full Metal Alchemist, which I don't detest, and I'm interested in, what's it called? The thing with the giants who are on fire? Well, not on fire, just very hot. Attack on Titan. But I need some more scientific explanations for this one. Well, not just scientific, but logical. Let's face it. You build a big wall like that to keep out titans, fair enough. But the titans were devised as weapons. You don't devise giant monstrous men like that to fight other human beings. We have tanks and planes and guns and bombs and all of that sort of thing, which are far more effective and have no chance of turning around and shooting you or ripping your head off. Because it feels like it. It's a tool, it can't turn around and do that. A living creature can, and it's stupid. They must have been set against something else, something terrible, and I want to know what. Number 8. What is your ambition in life? Well, naturally I hope to become king of the homosexuals, with Ellen DeGeneres as my queen. Or beyond that, let's just say, reasonably successful author. I'd be perfectly fine if I wasn't the next J.K. Rowling, because to be fair, she's still being J.K. Rowling. But I'd like to be a successful author. It would be pretty nice. Number 9. Who are your favourite YouTubers? I have a lot of them. There is Gary Hope Fletcher, with whom I have a slight obsession. There is Sabrina from Nerdy and Quirky. There is Ashley Mardell, who is just fantastic. And I'm really into what she's doing at the moment. A few of my small tuber friends and several people in the booktube community. There is Things Lucy Reads, who I think is just fantastic. There is Sam from Thoughts on Tomes, who always seems so incredibly professional yet passionate, and I have no idea how she does it, because I can do one or the other. I just get so excited. Number 10. Who do you want to do the tag next? I don't really know. Can't think of anyone off the top of my head. There are a few people who, well, lots of people who haven't done it, but I don't know if any of them would really be interested in doing it, so let's just say everyone in the entire world. What was that accent supposed to be? I need more practice. Just do this if you want to. And that's it. I hope you have been sufficiently entertained and that I haven't creeped you out by talking like this when I read out the questions. Because I'm feeling very strange today, so why the hell not? If you did enjoy it, why not let me know in the comments below and click like, share, subscribe and do all of the things. I can't remember what I was going to say next. It's quite irritating. Until next time then, tatty bye, dearies.